Something we can all hopefully agree on is that the DC animated movies are great. From Under the Red Hood in 2010 to Justice League Doom in 2012, these movies have action and thrilling plots, whether it's the idea of the unnecessary evils of being good in Under the Red Hood, or it's the responsibility of power in someone's hand in Justice League Doom, or it's the fact that Batman just fits so well in a Japanese setting. So, in 2013, DC Comics released Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, which many were thrilled to see that this was the first movie in their own animated universe. This quickly made a divide in their own movies. You see, before this, every DC animated movie they released was kind of its own thing. It was a one-shot. It was like a one-done thing. They did it, move on to a next movie, they aren't connected. But with the release of this movie, they created their own animated universe, meaning that any movie after this was going to be connected to somehow the last movie and the movie before that. Now, the DC Animated Universe or the DCAU movies don't necessarily suck, but they come nowhere in comparison of what DC's old animated movies were. The DCAU has 16 movies in its pocket, and personally, I've only enjoyed some of them. The writing has felt lazy and it didn't really fit the runtime. It felt like they were trying to cram in a 2-hour movie into an hour and 20 minutes. They seem to have lost the flair that made their animated movies so good. They focused more on action than the characters and their conflicts, which personally kind of bogs down the movies for me. I don't really find any interest in going back and watching them like I do with their older movies. Like, I'm sorry, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay was kind of funny, but it doesn't come nowhere near Dark Knight Returns. Like, I'm gonna pick Dark Knight Returns over that movie any day of the week. Like, let's compare Batman Under the Red Hood to Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Justice League Throne of Atlantis was the second Justice League movie in the DCAU, and I did not like this movie, okay? Like, it does, we do get to see one of my favorite Justice League members, Aquaman, and he's kind of cool, but the story just sucks. Like, okay, let's compare these two movies. In Under the Red Hood, we clearly understand why Jason Todd is being the Red Hood. He understands you can't control crime by fear, only by ruling it can you control it. But in Justice League Throne of Atlantis, I really don't understand why the villain wants to kill the surface people. Like, he's just a warmonger, and that's it. That's pretty much his whole character. Basically, the villain to Justice League Throne of Atlantis is just a brat, and when his mom tells him no, he's just like, no, I'm going to go fight people because, yeah, surface people. That's pretty much the villain. And I have to blame that on the runtime. You see, these movies are only about 60 to an hour and 20 minutes long, while the old movies used to be 2 hours and full-length movies. They shortened it, and they don't really give time for the characters to breathe or develop over the course of the movie, so everything just feels rushed. So after 8 years, the DCAU finally cultivated in its last and final film, Justice League Apokolips War. So this is going to be a full review on it. I'm not going to touch on it by every single little scene. I'm just critiquing on it what it did good and what it did wrong. Obviously, spoiler warnings are in effect. If you want to watch this movie and you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this because I'm going to spoil the fuck out of this movie. Yeah, so that's it. Just, that's it. So, like, future me throwing a random bonk sound effect. This movie has a lot of bad going for it, down to the lazy writing and the execution of said writing. It was supposed to be the final chapter of the story, but instead we got a lazy movie that tried to be edgy and focus on shock value than thrilling character arcs and conflicts. There is so much death and gore in this movie for no reason. Like the main cast of superheroes get killed in the most violent fashion, and usually I'm okay with that. But the way it's handled here, just like, why am I watching this? What was the point of that? So here, let me explain to you how they get killed. They get killed in still frames. Still frames. No big action scene where we see them fight to the very last breath. No, just still frames of them getting gangbanged by a bunch of fucking parademons. Like, come on, you couldn't think of anything better than that? The still frames part about this isn't even why I'm bothered. You see, their deaths weren't earned. They were used for shock factor to get the audience to be like, ah, they're dead, for 2 seconds, to shock the audience into thinking that this movie is great, when in reality, it's just a lazy excuse to get the audience to like this movie. And that's not even the only example of this throughout the whole movie. So, like I said, we basically see every single hero get impaled by a parademon. And in those course of events, we see Nightwing die. But Robin, Damian Wayne, brings back Nightwing's dead corpse to the Lazarus pit where he can resurrect him. Nightwing gets resurrected, but from the effects of the Lazarus Pit, he goes crazy. And usually, I'm okay with that. But you want to know how this movie uses him? You want to know how this movie uses Nightwing gone crazy? Trick question. They don't. He's literally used in one scene, and that scene is somebody opening a door, seeing that he's crazy, closing said door, never comes back up again. The writing to this movie feels super lazy. Like, there's this whole part where a group of heroes and the Suicide Squad have to go against Luthor's army to get to a portal to Apokolips. But here's how you would have fixed that. You see, Damian Wayne is the leader of the League of Assassins right now. And with that, he could have just literally sent the League of Assassins to go after Luthor's army and then had all of the heroes with them live to get to that portal. But instead, they don't use the League of Assassins and they just forget that they exist. Partly the reason that the writing felt sloppy and lazy at times has to do with who it was written by. Aaron Altbacker, who did the likes of Batman Hush only a year before. You know, that movie. Wait, sorry. I'm taking that epic ponage back because this guy wrote Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon. So like he's a mastermind, great writer, absolute god tier writer. If you hate him, you hate writing itself. You hate the idea of writing. You piece of. I wish those were the only reasons that this movie was okay in my opinion. But man, this movie just not that good. Characters die and then get brought back almost instantaneously in this movie. For example, Constantine and Robin. My problem with this is that in a movie that is already filled with random deaths and gores, for example, the entire Bat family and random superheroes, why didn't they just go all the way with these ones? They just feel cheap and bad writing. Constantine I kinda get for story purposes, but it could have been done differently. He literally gets his neck snapped, and then 5 minutes later, he comes back with the answer to how to beat Doomsday, basically. And Robin, you should have left him dead. I can give you 2 reasons on why you should have left him dead. You see, with him and Raven having a relationship, it would have meant more character development for Raven if he died. Same thing with Batman. With Batman coming around to Damian and actually loving him, if Damian died, especially since he sacrificed himself for Batman, Batman would have already been more f***ed up than he already was, on top of his parents getting killed. He could have literally had such a big character development moment right there. And you guys just wasted it with f***ing Raven being like, oh, I have healing powers now, ooh, and then brought back f***ing Damian. Like, come on, man. Like, this was my emotions to the scene when Raven brought Robin back. I was like, oh, she can do that? Cool. I honestly felt more emotion when Etrigan died. It's honestly not that I hate Raven, I just don't think she was that good in this movie. Usually I love Raven, and especially in the Teen Titan ones. Just this movie, she wasn't that good to me. Like, I just didn't like her character. Enough about Raven. Let's talk about my second favorite DC character, Wonder Woman. So, Wonder Woman during this movie gets turned into a doomsday, doomsday robot? Basically just like a doomsday cyborg robot, basically. Most of the heroes do. So, Wonder Woman fights this whole big battle with Etrigan. Etrigan loses and dies. Then, Wonder Woman gets lassoed for her to remember that she's not a bad guy, she's a good guy. And then she defends everyone else from the other cyborg doomsday guys. And this was a really good fight scene. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. This fight scene was the fight scene of the movie to me. Like, this was my favorite part. But DC, you didn't go all the way. Like, you just stopped when it was getting good, and you didn't go all the way. So basically, here's what happens. The group then finds Cyborg hooked up to the wall and is integrated into Doomsday's systems. And to stop Doomsday's systems, they short-circuit Cyborg, also short-circuiting the androids, or Doomsday robots. And here's my problem with that. Wonder Woman regaining her humanity, I get, because she has a better mental fortitude than a lot of other people. But you should have kept the other one Cyborg and loyal to Doomsday, so Wonder Woman could have actually had a moment to further her character to see if she would have killed the people she once called her friends. Like, there's no character development in this movie, and even for the ones I wanted character development, I didn't get any, and that's why it's disappointing, and I just really wanted Wonder Woman to have her own scene, because she only gets one movie in the DCAU, and she's like the coolest character in the DCAU to me, besides the little ones like Nightwing, it's Wonder Woman for me. And basically throughout this whole movie, she gets shafted besides for one scene where she could have had some character development, and she didn't. And DC, what the f*** is wrong with you? Basically, what boils down to in this movie is a bunch of fake-out deaths that are meant to shock people, but in reality, it just ruins the stakes of the movie and doesn't make it as intense as people wanted this movie to be. If I had to compare this movie to anything, it has to be Endgame, because this is the endgame of their universe. But if you compare the two, Marvel actually had characters dying. Some of them got brought back, but in that first Infinity War movie, we were shocked. We were genuinely shocked when we saw most of the cast die. And in this movie, yeah, we get shocked, but they get brought back like 5 minutes later, or their deaths are just so like, oh my god, they just died, and you just don't realize it. Characters are meant to die, and if you do that, then it bring them back 5 minutes later, you lose the emotional impact that comes with the death. Like, let's take for example, when Robin sacrifices himself for Batman, yeah, you get some emotion, and I was like, oh my god, he just did that, and I felt sadness for a little bit, but then when Raven brought him back, I was like, what was the point of that scene? It furthered no one's character development, and it just kind of ruined the movie for me. But when Etrigan died, I actually felt emotion towards it, because I knew he was dead, and he didn't get brought back, and on top of that, the way he died was like this glorious fight between him and Wonder Woman, and at the end, he was like, you were a worthy opponent, and then dies, and I was like, oh my god, Etrigan, no, don't leave me. You will be missed. But enough talking about the bad in this movie. I want to talk about the good, because there are some genuinely good things about this movie. As I said in my review of Dokumushi, go watch that by the way, it has 400 views of the time recording this. I like to see the good in everything. Even the bad things have something good about them. Well, I've watched this movie twice, and I found things that make this movie rewatchable for me. As bad and as lazy the writing is, I have to give props for the comedy. They had some funny moments in this, like Constantine's ex being King Shark, or King Shark saying King Shark is a shark whenever he talks.
King Shark is a shark.
Or just the Suicide Squad in general. This movie had some genuinely good comedy that had my stoner ass laughing even when things weren't supposed to be funny. Like how they made Superman useless until the very end just made me chuckle a little bit. I don't know, I'm just saying, this movie had some good comedy, made me laugh a little bit, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I think this movie's rewatchable for me. I can laugh at it.
It's a boomerang, you fuckknuckle.
It's been an honor to fight by your side.
Are you shitting me?
The action in this movie is good. I don't think any of the DCAU movies have bad action sequences, and this one is no different. Etrigan vs. Wonder Woman is pretty good, even though we lost, like, the best character. Why did you have to leave me, Etrigan? Why did you have to go? Anything else good in this movie? Well, the voice acting is solid. I think some of the characters are great. Matt Ryan nails Constantine. He kind of steals the show from me. Who else had a good voice actor in my opinion? Oh, Rosario Dawson was a great voice actress. She nails Wonder Woman. She really captures her spirit.
I am Diana of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta. I follow the old gods and will never again bow to the new.
Care to do the honors?
And she's kind of gonna be my favorite character in Star Wars, Ahsoka Tano, in the next season of Mandalorian. So I might be a tad bit biased, but you know what? That's fine, because I think she's a perfect Wonder Woman. Who else? Camilla Luddington as Zatanna was really nice, even though she was only in a handful of scenes, counting the stupid still frame she dies in, but I think she captures the emotion between Constantine and Zatanna pretty well, and I enjoyed her when I saw her. Anything else? Any other voice actors? No, not really. I hate who they picked for Batman. I don't feel like he's Batman at all. So, let's just, I don't really got anything else to add on this movie, so let's just move into the closing statement, shall we?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Though I love DC, and I've made it my personal mission to collect all the DCAU films besides, what was the one I'm not gonna, I always forget about this one because I never want to remember it. I faded out of my brain. Oh God, get back in your corner. Get back. No one likes you. Get out of here. Get out of here. God. Okay, where was I? I gotta say that Justice League Apokolips War is kind of a disappointment to me. The movie sets out to do some bold things, and it has to end an 8-year story with this one movie. But they crammed what should have been at least a 2-hour movie into 90 minutes. Yeah, no joke, it's actually 90 minutes long. So here, DC, if you somehow watching this is what I would do.
You're real Robin Hood types. Rob from the rich and sell to the poor.
Please put more funding into your animation department so we can get more long and detailed stories. I know it looks like people don't buy your animated movies and that more hardcore fans are gonna like it and the money is more into the live action, but if you produce a movie like Batman Under the Red Hood again with a gripping plot, people will guarantee buy that movie.
King Shark is in charge.
Being edgy and having needlessly gore does not make your movie good. I'm sorry, DC, just doesn't. Like, you had one opportunity to give Cyborg his classic booyah catchphrase, and instead you replaced it with "see you later." Like, come on, DC. Like, what are you doing here?
My friend here was attacked by thugs. We killed him right back. Yep. Yeah, just Siree Bob, you betcha. Gotta get my friend to a dog. How are you? Can we go?
The most important thing, and something you should definitely take away from this video, is that if you keep producing mediocre movies like this, your fans will eventually stop buying it. They may not right now, and they might just buy everything, but eventually, if you keep producing this, they will stop buying it, and you will lose fans. So, in conclusion, is this movie garbage? No. Is this movie worth the $14 I spent? No. Is this movie worth watching? Yes. If you watched all the DCAU films, you gotta watch it. It's the last film in the series, so you should watch it anyway. But it does have that ending where Flash kind of just resets the whole universe, making the whole events of this movie and any movie past it basically useless. So, like, yeah, this movie's garbage.